Marriage is a tough thing. Loving is a tough thing. And even being loved is quite tough, especially when you're a cop. But despite all our ups and downs, I loved Katie. I loved her with all of myself. Since she left, my mind can't help but dwell on her. And despite my sincere efforts, I miss her more than anything else in the world. Could this longing signify love? The ache when someone's gone?
He was a good man. Or at least that's how I like to think of him. A kind and gentle man. I, on the other hand, was a pretty nasty girl. I possessed all the things that a woman shouldn't possess. I drank too much, I flirted too much, and didn't care about anything at all. That's Larry. He's kind of a friend, but I don't like him very much. And he's Vince. Old Vince is, well, pretty nasty too. They were the only people I knew. Until the moment I met him.
I encountered her at the retreat. I hadn't noticed her initially as I was too consumed by the case I was working on. I hadn't slept for 3 nights, and I was hunting for some son of a bitch who was murdering girls. But then something happened.
I won't tell you again.
Sorry, Mr. Stupid.
When I say don't pick up the dice so fast, I mean it.
I'll roll them again if you like, huh?
Go ahead.
Honey, that guy's way out of line.
Reds, don't fight. Please, Red.
Sit down, Junior.
Get out, kid. Get your boyfriend out of
Come
here,
on, Reds,
sister.
let's go home.
Look, you're not scaring me.
Please, Reds, come on.
Where you going, thief?
This isn't your business, Banyan.
All right, thief, suppose you tell me what my business is. Go on, tell me. You like working girls over, don't you?
Take it easy, Sergeant. I don't know what you're talking about. Here, baby. This is for you. Get yourself something nice. No hard feelings, huh? That squared, Sergeant?
Get out of here while you can still walk.
Sure. Sure.
You too. You gonna be all right?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mr. Mister.
Sergeant,
Yeah?
I'd like to buy you a drink.
With Vince Stone's money? I'd choke on it.
No one had ever had the courage to speak to Vince like that. And above all, no one had ever spoken to me like that. I like that man. So I followed him. It was the stupidest, and yet the most righteous decision I have ever made in my life. As soon as I reached him, I tried to convince him that I had nothing to do with Vince, that I didn't know him, that I had only met him that evening, and that I certainly wouldn't have seen him again after everything he had done. In short, I shamelessly lied. After all those lies, I began to flirt with him, going as far as asking him to drive me home. He was a gentleman and didn't refuse, but he opened the door of a taxi for me, wishing me a good evening. Everybody winning?
Oh, hello, Debbie.
How you doing, Vince?
Okay. Where you been?
The Garrity Club. Late show.
Give me out a while, huh, boys? How was the show?
The usual routines. Not too bad.
Why didn't you come straight home?
The way you ran out, I didn't think you cared.
What do you mean ran out?
It wasn't a stroll.
The election's this close, I can't afford trouble with a crazy ex-cop.
He's not so crazy. Got a hot flash for you. It hates your guts.
How would you know?
I was there, remember? I'm the girl you left at the bar.
I phoned a retreat. Tierney said you offered to buy Banyan a drink.
Kearney wouldn't know a gag unless it hit him right in the face.
He said you followed Banyan outside.
I went out looking for you. You made better time getting away than they make in the Olympics.
That's a real pretty kisser.
Isn't it?
I thought maybe you and Banyan played footsie while my back was turned.
You ought to trade Tierney in. Get yourself a more reliable stool pigeon.
Maybe I got myself a better stoolie. How was the Garrity Club?
No! My arm, Vince! My arm!
You like cops, do you?
Don't, Vince, please!
Where'd you go with them?
My arm! My arm!
I asked you a question. Where?
I only saw him on the street. On the street!
I suggest we call it a night.
I suggest you shut your mouth. Where'd you go with Banyan?
Nowhere. Nowhere! He dropped me off at the Gaiety!
Oh, the Gaiety, the Gaiety. Oh, you pig. You lying pig. I'll fix you in your pretty face.
Oh, Vince, she scalded.
She had it coming.
Don't just stand there. Get her to a doctor.
You'll have to make a police report.
That's why we're sending you. Go on, get moving.
I'll try. I'll try.
Shut the door.
She woke me up in the middle of the night, knocking at my door, pulling me away from the dreams of my past. She burst into my room, hiding from me and imploring me to turn off the light. Her fear could be felt from meters away. But there was something else, beyond the fear. There was another emotion within her, and it was anger. At first, she slumped into the chair in despair. She told me she had lied to me, that she knew Vince, that he was her man, and that it was him who had done this to her. But then, after I told her I would call the police, she jumped up and lashed out at me. She said it was my fault that her beautiful face had been ruined. She said it was my fault that her life had been ruined now. She said it was all my fault because she had talked to me for a few moments. Just a few moments, and now her life was ruined forever. I felt pity for her and didn't call anyone. I told her that my wife used to scold me in a similar way, blaming me for everything. Only then she began to calm down and apologize to me. She told me she was sorry and it wasn't my fault. It was Larry's fault for seeing them together. And maybe not even Larry. Maybe the fault was solely hers. But I didn't see it that way. So I went to Larry's house. We talked for a while, in a civil manner, like two adults.
Get up.
You must be nuts.
Come on, get up.
I asked him about the girl with a burned face in my hotel room.
You're punchy.
Go on, pick it up. I won't kill you, not right away.
You got a wrong steer. If I knew what you was talking about.
Still, the conversation was a bit bland and needed some flavor.
Where my mother?
However, with some encouragement and kind words, he began to spill the whole story.
Start talking. If you don't, I'll finish the job. Talk.
About how Vince was insane, a psychopath, and incredibly jealous of anything that belonged to him. He told me that he had a passion for explosions, and that the girl had been lucky. She could have easily been blown up. And in that moment, I realized who was responsible for all of my suffering.
I told you what I know.
It was Vince.
I'm through with you. But your friends aren't. I'm gonna spread the word that you talked. You're out of business, thief.
I was left alone in his apartment, thinking and waiting for him. I had time to reflect on myself, on my life choices, on how they had led to all of this.
How about a little light in here, huh?
I've got to get used to being seen sometime, I guess. He brought me food and treated me with respect. Despite my having lied to him and caused him so many problems. I've been feeling like something that's been shut up because nobody wants to look at it.
Ain't she supposed to take my eyes before meals? Here you are. Some water?
Just sitting here thinking's pretty rough when you spent most of your life not thinking.
I'll eat your soup, huh?
He was a good man. Someone you could rely on. What was your wife like, Dave?
27 years old. Light hair. Gray eyes.
That's a police description. Did she like to cook? Like to be surprised? What kind of things made her laugh? That's what... I'm sorry, you don't want to talk about her. Certainly not with me.
Not with anyone.
Did you find Larry?
What? Yeah. Yeah, I found him.
And? He told me about what Larry had said to him about Vince. About the possibility that he was the man he had been looking for months, but then he stopped, and a shadow crossed his face. And in that moment, I realized that there was something behind this whole story. That it wasn't just for me that he was doing all of this. That it was personal.
You know, I almost killed her an hour ago. I should have.
I don't believe you could. If you had, there wouldn't be much difference between you and Vince Stone. Then the phone started ringing.
I told him downstairs.
It was the central station calling him back. So,
Yes?
I returned to my thoughts, and an idea began to come forth.
The chief was furious with me. He had found out about the girl in my room, how I had treated Larry, and above all, he knew where that story was going to end. He knew me all too well, and understood that if I kept on that path, I would land in trouble, in places where even he couldn't pull me out. He continued to shout and gesture, hoping that his anger would set me straight. He wanted me to realize that I shouldn't have done everything alone, that personal revenge wasn't a way to bring anyone back, and that it was entirely futile, not to mention wrong. But I wasn't listening. The only thing on my mind was Vince. I had to find him and know if it was him who killed my wife.
He went to Vince's house with one idea in his mind: to kill that son of a bitch. This way, he could finally avenge me. Avenge all the women Vince had hurt. Avenge his wife. But I arrived first. It'll burn for a long time, Vince. It doesn't look bad now. But in the morning, your face will be like mine. Look at it. It isn't pretty, is it? You'll walk through side streets and alleys so that people won't stare at you. Oh, but you're lucky. It won't be for long. I had never felt so good in my life. But unfortunately, as they say, joy doesn't last long in this wretched world.
Emergency. Get an ambulance to 257 Flower Street, the penthouse.
We'll take your gun, Dave.
You can have him, too. There's one charge against him to start with.
Dave.
Yes.
Am I going to die?
If I said you'd live another 100 years, you'd call me a liar.
I don't want to die. I must look awful. Vince shouldn't have ruined my looks. It was a rotten thing to do. Dave.
Yes.
I'm going to die.
No, Debbie.
Remember how angry you got when I asked you about your wife?
I wasn't angry. Oh, you and Katie had gotten along fine.
What was she like?
A real Irish blowtop, but she always got over it fast. She used to raise the roof with me for missing dinner or leaving the bathroom in a mess. A few minutes later, she'd come in with a drink in her hand for me, just as though nothing had happened. You know, Kate, she was a sampler. She used to take sips of my drink and puffs on my cigarette, and sometimes she used to taste the food off my plate. We got a big kick out of that.
I like her. I like her a lot.
Sometimes when I came home from work, she'd have the baby dressed up like a little princess. One of the most important parts of the day was when I came in and saw her looking like something and just stepped down off a birthday cake. I guess it's that way with most of them.